Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you.
What is up, trainers? PoGo Joel here, coming at you with another Rainbow Cup video. In this video, we're going to be covering the electric type in the meta. So we're going to go over the best of the best electric types. Electric types are not the strongest of the typings in the meta, so it's important to get it right, choose the right one. They got nerfed a while back. When Thunderbolt got nerfed, it was during one of the most recent move changes. When Thunderbolt got nerfed, it kind of wiped out a lot of the electric type Pokemon and their viability. But we're going to jump right into it. If you find anything helpful, please drop a like, subscribe, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Up first, we have the most popular electric pick in the meta. We have Lanturn, a water and electric type Pokemon with a attack stat of 146, a defense of 137, and a stamina of a beefy 268. It's going to resist steel, fire, flying, ice, and water. It's going to be weak to grass and ground. What sets this apart is it's going to be more weak to grass, which is something that's kind of neutral throughout the other electric types. And then if you do decide to go with Lanturn, you're going to have a choice to make when it comes down to the fast move. You can run Charge Beam, which kind of helps you get to your Thunderbolts a lot faster. And if you don't want Charge Beam, because when you use Charge Beam, it actually makes your Charizard matchup a lot closer, and it makes some of the other matchups a little more closer, even though you are getting that fast move charging up faster as the charge move. Yeah, I kind of like Water Gun over Charge Beam. Water Gun does a lot more neutral damage to the meta, and you'll still have that same coverage. You'll have actually more coverage than just the electric type moves only. Definitely something to consider there. You're gonna have to run you don't have to run two moves, but if you want a little bit more coverage, a little more nuke damage, that 1-2 punch, you're gonna want to unlock the secondary move and get Hydro Pump on it. So by running Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump, you can play some mind games, and you also have a big hitting move right at the end that you can throw off if your opponent doesn't have any shields, and it does pick up stab. So definitely something to consider here. For this one, we're just running Thunderbolt. But if you only had one move and you can only afford one move, go Thunderbolt. But learn how to use it in a spammy way. So maybe don't fire off the Thunderbolts so consistently, so fast right away. Maybe hold off a little bit, charge up a little more, and then fire it off, so you can at least play some mind games with your opponent. But definitely a fun Pokemon here, and as you can see, Water Gun does a great amount of damage over Charge Beam. I like Water Gun. I've always preferred it, and some of you guys might already have a Lanturn powered up from previous cups, so a very great option you can bring in. Definitely consider it for your team, and it really does put in a lot of work. The downside about it is it gets walled by grass types because it is part water, and it's only a soft counter to Quagsire. So definitely some things to consider. Charge Beam is viable, but again, I prefer Water Gun. Play around with it, see what you like. I feel like Water Gun is going to do more damage to the meta neutrally, and plus give you a little more coverage. Like if Charizard comes out there, you'll beat it faster with Water Gun as opposed to just using Charge Beam. But try it out, guys. Up next, we have Raichu. Alrighty, Raichu is a pure electric type Pokemon with an attack of 193, defense of 155, stamina of 155. It's going to resist electric, flying, steel, and have a weakness to ground only. So that's the good part of a lot of these electric types, the pure ones, is they only have that weakness to ground, not like Lanturn. Alrighty, now Raichu can be viable for you in a few different situations. If you have the legacy fast move, Thunder Shock, that's going to be the best possible fast move you can have for Raichu. It charges up so fast, makes you so deadly. If you do not have it, it's going to get a little more iffy, but you can run Spark. Stay away from Volt Switch. That's one of the fast moves, but it is a terrible fast move. It does a lot of damage, but it's so slow. Kind of like Confusion, but worse. But yeah, Spark might work for you. It's going to take one extra Spark to get to your charge move as opposed to Thunder Shock. So Thunder Shock, Legacy moveset. It does have another legacy charge move, Thunder, but that move is not going to be great. I actually had it on this Raichu here. I went ahead and TM'd that out. Currently, I was trying out Brick Break and Wild Charge. I was thinking that maybe Brick Break will have more of a neutral matchup for neutral damage against the meta. There are some matchups where it's amazing and it helps out really well, but I just don't feel like Brick Break is enough against most of the meta. So I do go ahead and switch that up later into Thunder Punch. I think Thunder Punch, you'll get more out of it. Plus, you do pick up Stab from that move, which Brick Break you didn't. So Thunder Punch in the end made it for me, and I liked it a lot better. For sure, I liked it going up against a lot of the matchups that an electric type should win. By having Brick Break is kind of limiting you to this one box, and not so fun. But either one, as long as you choose the move sets that you prefer, I like the spam ability that you have with it. You're gonna have your opponent waste their shields, and they're gonna think, do I need to block this or do I not need to block this? You can hit them with Thunderbolts quickly, or you can do, I think, 1 or 2 extra charges and get off a Volt Switch. Oh no, I'm sorry, a Wild Charge, and then that should do a lot of damage too. So if you don't think about Raichu, if you kind of sleep on this guy, he's gonna hurt you really bad. As you can see here, you can play a lot of mind games with it, and you can go ahead and just come back and hit them so hard, so fast, with most of the move sets that you can run with him. If you want to try to get some neutral damage, try out Brick Break, but I tried it out. I'm not a fan. I'm going to keep bringing that up because I know I do run a few of them here. This was, I think, the last straw for me. Slowking's not even the best confusion user in this meta, and that fast spam move that I have, he might have blocked because he thought it was going to be Thunder Punch, and it wasn't. And then as soon as he knew that it wasn't Thunder Punch, he's like, okay, I can resist your Brick Break, so just bring it. I was like, okay, no, let's switch this up. I need to get Thunder Punch on Raichu, and I loved it. You can see right there, that was a perfect way to make them think, am I going to waste their shield, or am I going to get hit by something hard? And even if they don't use their shield, you have 2 Thunder Punches ready to go, or a Thunder Punch and a Wild Charge right there to go. So Raichu, a very fast and dangerous spammy monster. Look out for this little electric mouse. He can put in some work for you. And here against Mantine, Thunder Punch is going to be a lot better for you as well. And we're just throwing it up against a few different scenarios, shielding situations as well. It's going to get walled by grass. If a Frenzy Prank gets on you, you're done. And it does lose a little bit harder to Quagsire. Again, Thunder Shock's the way to go. Spark will work if you need it, but not as good as Thunder Shock. But try Raichu out. Up next, we are rolling with Magneton, a Steel and Electric type Pokemon with an attack of 223, defense of 169, stamina of 137. It's going to be weak to Fighting, Fire, Ground, a 4 times weakness there because we're Electric and Steel. And it's going to resist Flying, Poison, Steel, Bug, Dragon, Electric, Fairy, Grass, Ice, Normal, Psychic, and Rock. Because we're a Steel type Pokemon, we pick up a lot of resistances, which is one of the appealing things about Magneton. Well, to make Magneton work, you are going to want either or both of these legacy moves. We have Thunder Shock and Discharge. I'm actually running a Magneton with a double legacy moveset. I'm fortunate enough to still have one. It's a 2016 Pokemon thanks to all of my trades. This is my oldest Pokemon I have left now. I didn't trade this one. I actually had it and saved it because it was my first one. Luckily for me, I had that moveset. So Thunder Shock, again, just charges up the moves so much faster than anything else. Discharge is a super spammy move. There's a few different things you can do to be successful with Magneton. I'm using it as a lead just to show you what it can do. You might be able to shield bait and get a lot of people to waste these shields, but then if they don't block that discharge, oh my gosh, they're going to be surprised at how much damage you can actually output onto them. Let's see here. Discharge is definitely the move to go. If you don't have access to either of these moves, you do have some options to try to make it viable, but I'm not sure how viable it is, because I already feel like Magneton's kind of squishy. You will have to invest 1 shield in it at least, and 2 if you feel like you have an upper hand with it, but definitely at least 1. Actually, I'm looking at this, and on second thought, I don't know how viable it is without at least having Discharge. You can get away with using Spark to stay away from Charge Beam as fast moves, but I mean the other charge moves, they have Zap Cannon, Flash Cannon, and Magnet Bomb. Magnet Bomb being the only 3-bar move that it has, which drops down to a 2 in PvP. So I'm not sure if I didn't have Discharge, I'd probably not use my Magneton whatsoever. But hey, give it a shot. If that works for you, maybe you can prove me wrong. I think by having Thundershock, you can still make it viable. If you have Discharge, you're golden. You just run Spark on it. If you don't have any of those movesets, we do have more electric options for you. But Magneton, a very fun and spammy option. Up next, we have Raikou, the legendary beast, the legendary dog. It's an attack of 241, a defense of 195, and a stamina of 207. It's a pure electric type, so it's going to resist electric, flying, and steel, and it's only going to be weak to ground. So Raikou, one of the few legendaries that's actually really viable in the meta. So with Raikou, you're definitely going to want to run Thundershock. If you can only afford one move, one charge move, you're going to either be running Wild Charge, which is going to make you more of an electric specialist, or you're going to be running Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball was just added to Raikou not so long ago, and there's not too many things. I don't even think there's anything that resists Ghost in this meta. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but Ghost damage with Shadow Ball should hit neutral on everything, and it does deal damage pretty quickly. And we have that Thundershock, which is going to get us to that charge move pretty quickly here. If you can only afford one move, difficult. Shadow Ball, maybe? It really just depends on your team composition, what you have. You might be able to get away with the Thundershock on some of the things you need it to have. But here we go up in the mirror match. So I'll run Thunderbolt, and she's going to be running Shadow Ball. Let's see. That does good damage there. We're not going to shield these. We're just wanting to see how much it does. I get into the red with Shadow Ball, and she's not even in the red, and I'm about to hit my second Thunderbolt off. She shields. There's no point in me shielding now, at least unless I want to try to see what the opponent has. But yeah, nope. So now we're flopping it up. We're switching it up. I'm going to be trying out this Shadow Ball Raikou right here, and let's see how we do. So let's see. Shield and a shield. Are we going to shield up again? We might as well. Let's check it out. And we'll hit a Shadow Ball, and let's see what happens for us next. Alright, golden. We're looking good. We're able to get Shadow Ball off, and see, it just does so much neutral damage. It's super viable in this. You can trade for these. You want to get one that was at a level 15 in the research boxes when those were out, so definitely keep an eye out on it. I would go, so what I did when I was looking through mine is I just would hit the power up button just to see which one I can get closer to that 1500 mark. But definitely check them out if you were able to claim a bunch of these. They were random in the research boxes, and you might have a good one that you're sitting on and you don't know about. Shadow Ball, you can TM to it if you didn't get it right away. So definitely a viable option you can bring in and get a little bit of legendary flex. The shiny should be coming out in raid soon. Hopefully the shiny will show up in a box someday and you get to use that shiny. But for now, we'll just keep rolling with what we got. A fun fact, if you don't think it's viable, well, you should know that Raikou is the bulkiest electric type in the meta. So if you have access to one and you don't have access to any of these other electric types, you can definitely throw this on your team, play around with it, and see how your team comp works with it. Raikou can be a legendary beast for you. Alrighty, and here is my wild card pick for the electric types. Electabuzz with an attack stat of 198, defense of 158, and a stamina of 163. The way I like to think about it is it's Raichu, but slightly bulkier with a little more attack. It's going to be a pure electric type, so resisting electric, flying, steel, weak to ground. And like I said, it does charge up fast like Raichu. It's very similar to Raichu. It as a second move, so as a second unlock move, Thunder Punch. If you can get a Elect Kid and buy that secondary move as a Elect Kid, it's only going to cost you 10,000. So that is a good option for you there. I was actually having some success running this in practice matches. I loved it, and then I started playing a little bit more skilled players, and I have to tell you, you're gonna miss Raichu if you're used to practicing with both. Wild Charge is so much more better now than Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt used to be a really great move, and they nerfed it, and the electric types kind of went away because of that. Niantic fixed the electric types. But yeah, Electabuzz can definitely be used wisely. It's most likely going to need a shield, just like Raichu, but that's who I would compare it to in this cup. Another off-the-wall pick is going to be Electrode, but play around with it. If you need something, if you don't have any of the other options, this might be a great option for you. Alrighty trainers, there you have it. That is the best of the electric types for the Rainbow Cup beta. This has been PoGo Joel. If any of this was helpful, please drop a like, subscribe, and until next time trainers, battle on!